Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this azalea tree. I got this tree as nursery stock a couple of years ago, and I performed the initial root work conversion and styling of the tree last spring. I was just intending to style it in a pretty traditional sense, but through the process of exploring its structural branching and whatnot, I discovered that it just had this natural proclivity for this cascading branch. So it just sort of really was a good example of working with what a tree gives you rather than forcing something upon the tree. And in this case, I think it looks tremendous. It's very natural for this tree to be in this semi-cascade sort of style. Unfortunately, just like with the Monterey oak, if you watched my previous video, I lost the video footage of that initial nursery stock conversion procedure with this tree. But I have some more recent footage to show you guys of some recent work that I've done to it. This tree puts out an incredible show of flowers in the spring that you'll see in some of the next few shots. And you'll see it featured elsewhere in my videos because it's just such a beautiful statement piece. So thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoy. As you can see, almost all of the flowers have died off at this point. They've come and gone. It was a beautiful show. There will be some stragglers that come along over the next few weeks still. But by and large, the flowering season is over for this tree. Today I'm going to be doing a procedure on this azalea known as deadheading. So let's start with a little background about the tree as I get started here. This tree hasn't been with me for too long, a couple of years. This is an Azalea Duc de Rohan, probably French, right? So Duc de Rohan. Oh, that was terrible. I got this as a nice little nursery plant. I could tell that it could make a good bonsai with some proper styling. I believe I bought it in the fall, and then left it alone over the winter with plans to start the nursery stock conversion the following spring. So after that first spring flowering show, I did the first styling, the first step of nursery stock conversion. I did a significant root conversion procedure, and then I also did the first styling of the trunk, the branches. I pruned it back pretty heavily, and it had this long branch coming off to the side. Well, it was going straight up, but I could tell like it could be bent down into a cascade style really well. So just worked with what the tree, kind of what it naturally wanted to do, and it turned out really well. So this year was the first year that we got to see it in flower with this cascade style in place. And it's only going to get better and better over the years, particularly on this cascade branch, which is still quite leggy. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing. It's a pretty straightforward procedure. It's called deadheading. So on an azalea, once they're done flowering, they have these leftover little would-be seed pods here. And since it has so many flowers, it has so many of these seed pods. And so as these get fertilized through the flowering season, the tree's going to want to devote a lot of energy and resources into each of these to create seeds. And what we want instead is for it to use that energy toward feeding the foliage and feeding the trunk of the tree. So we go through and we remove these little would-be seed pods. And all we're doing is plucking them off like that. So just going around and plucking these off. Visually, this is a nice step because once the flowers are dying off, the tree just starts to look messy. And so this just cleans up the tree. It does end up looking quite barren after this. I'm not removing flowers that are still very lovely and healthy looking. I'll leave those to enjoy for a day or two or however long they have left. And I'm also being careful to identify flower buds that haven't opened yet or that are developing and not plucking those off. Because even though the big flower show is over, it'll continue to put off a few more flowers here and there, and we want to enjoy that. I think that a more veteran or professional bonsai person would see me do this and get a kick out of how slow and methodical I am about it. Because I watch, the one that comes to mind is a Peter Chan video at Heron's Bonsai. I mean, they have, it's a professional nursery. They have hundreds, thousands of trees, whatever. And he's walking through during azalea flower season. And there's just so many of them, so many flowers, so many trees. And he's explaining the deadheading process. And he's just plucking so quickly. Just pluck. So quick about it. I said, she looks pretty sparse after that procedure. But now she can divert all of her resources into producing more foliage, more branches. Oh, also, look at this azalea next door. Since being deadheaded, you can see little shoots coming out from each of the places where there were those flower buds, seed pods. One last flower. Today I'm going to be taking the wire off. This wire has been on here for over a year. It's just starting to bite in some areas, and so it's time to take it off. I'm a little mixed with emotion today. Beautiful weather. Glad to be doing this on this tree. Glad to be outside at the end of a work day on Thursday. Today was my last day at my former job. I have a new gig lined up. Glad. It's a very good thing for me personally for a number of reasons. But I don't know. This moment comes with mixed emotions for me. Yet again, it's times like this that I'm thankful for bonsai. To take my mind away. Get me grounded in something earthy and creative. So here we go. Like I said, I just did the first work on it a year ago. Root-wise, structural pruning-wise, wiring-wise. And it's, as far as a 1 year since nursery stock project, like, it looks great. It's doing wonderfully. It is set up so well as a bonsai, particularly with this semi-cascade format that it naturally is inclined for. I'm very interested to see how well this holds its shape. Like I said, the wire's been on here for more than a year. And only just recently have I seen it really biting in a few places. So far I've removed the wire from this very front cascade branch, and it's raising up a little bit, but not much. So this branch ended up with a double spiral. 2 pieces of this same wire. I don't remember this, but apparently I did it with one wire of this gauge, and it wouldn't hold it in the position I wanted it, so I did it again with the same gauge wire, and that got it done. So this one came up a little bit, but not bad. That's holding its shape nicely down in there. Pretty great. We have a very thick wire here. It's this right here, this bend. So let's find out when I remove it, how much does this branch come back up? And remember, as always, as you remove the wire and the branches and things have an inclination to return to their natural position, we're gonna wire it again. Like, it's not one and done. I mean, there's more wire left back here at the base that's attached elsewhere on the tree, anchoring the wire. But like, that didn't move, did it? Hardly at all. I see some guys, as they're doing their wire removal, they like to talk about how with aluminum wire, you can remove it off of the tree sort of delicately in order to reuse it, straighten it out and reuse it. That is true in some cases. There are some cases where the wire can be unwound off the branch safely to be reused. But honestly, most of the time, if you've left the wire on for a substantial amount of time, trying to unwind the wire rather than just cutting it into pieces to remove it can be way worse on the tree. Because as you try to unwind it, you'll be like peeling off bits of bark of the branch, knocking buds off, maybe snapping branches. So it carries a little bit of risk to try and remove it that way. And so yeah, most of the time I'm just snipping the wire off in bits to get it off safely. And I do my best to pick up the bits as they fall on the ground, because this is our backyard and we're out here barefoot a lot. As you look at the front of this tree, there's this middle trunk here that goes up. And as I styled this tree, that middle trunk was coming very much toward the viewer, like aggressively so. So I wired it up here and did a guy wire. You can see it here, anchored to this, pulling that central trunk back away from the front of the tree. Let's see as I remove this, if that sort of snaps forward in that direction, or if it stays. I'm gonna cut the guy wire. Did you see that? It moved like maybe a centimeter. It moved a tiny bit. And given the strength of that pull that I had going on there, that is a huge success. There goes the wire. Look at how well that Cascade branch has held. That central trunk. I'm just going to selectively remove a few of these interior shoots that are growing out. You guys, the bunny is right here, coming up so close to me. Look at him. Hey, bunny. It's like 5 feet from me. What's up, dude? There we go. So here she is. We just recently removed the wire, and you can see how the Cascade branch has come up quite a bit. I'm going to start with an anchor hook, piece of fairly thick wire that's going to go into the bottom of the pot. Sticking out here now, it's tucked up into a drainage hole. Just bring it up and give it a little curl right here. And so that's going to be our anchor to which we can attach guy wire. We're going to take this anchor wire, or this wire attached to our anchor point down there, and we're going to grab this first branch. There, that's good, right there. All right, for this one, I want to go down and that way across the pot. So we need a second anchor point that's further off to the right. There. Give it a loop. Okay. God, it's beautiful out here today. Just a beautiful spring morning. Grabbing this branch. And there we have it. Pulled down into position, maybe a little bit overdone, a little bit exaggerated, but that's okay in order to try to get it to set into position